I'm gonna know exactly what minute 36. No, then you go you can go Jacqueline. Oh.
That gave me fun though. That was epic. And it's like, you know, you got the probe or whatever.
Ryan Garcia linking up with David Benavidez for the Mario Barrios fight is one of those gym stories that sounds cool on paper, but hits different when you understand what's actually happening.
Ryan Garcia teaming up with David Benavidez ahead of the Mario Barrios fight is one of those training camp stories that looks impressive at first glance. But it carries a much deeper meaning once you break down what's really going on behind the scene.
Now, let's talk about this footage where David Benavidez is throwing strikes at Ryan, and Ryan is trying to do the silly shell, trying to roll his shoulder, and then return with an uppercut, just like we said in the war room. If he can perfect the silly shell, everybody's going to be in a world of hurts. If he perfects it, because he has the hand-eye coordination and reflexes to make you miss like that. If he perfects it as far as punching out of it with an uppercut, you don't see him throw uppercuts like that. Like, bam, bam. If he perfect it, jab and dip, jab, left hook. If he perfect it, he's a problem.
This isn't stage sparring meant to look good on camera. It's Ryan absorbing real, in the trenches, fight knowledge from someone who thrives under pressure. Benavidez has been guiding him through the Philly shell, not the polished social media version, but the gritty, practical form that works in close quarters. It's about rolling with shots, creating small openings, and countering immediately without having to reset his stance.
It's crazy how David Benavidez, as a cruiserweight, can even keep up with Ryan Garcia as a welterweight. And really, Ryan Garcia is the fastest fighter in the game. And still, David Benavidez, Ryan Garcia doing a speed challenge, and David Benavidez is keeping up.
Let's go, baby! Dude.
That kind of work is crucial for Ryan, especially in moments when raw speed by itself isn't enough to solve the problem. And then came the speed drill that had everyone in the gym paying attention. Garcia is widely known as one of the quickest fighters in the sport, yet Benavidez, a significantly bigger athlete, was right there with him, matching reactions and staying step for step. That's rare. It's the kind of thing you only see when exceptional physical gifts meet flawless timing.
Listen, Ryan Garcia is faster than David Benavidez, and he should be. And Ryan Garcia being as fast as he is, I just think it's more impressive to me that the Mexican mom stuff.
You could almost see Ryan's perspective change in real time. It was that moment of realization. This guy can move like that at this size. Working alongside someone who can apply pressure, match his speed, and still stay sharp while throwing volume is precisely the kind of preparation Ryan needs before stepping in with a tough, poised opponent like Barrios.
Go, Jacqueline.
Oh.
That gave me fun though. That was epic. And it's like, you got the probe or whatever.
Right after Ryan lays out his whole illusion and misdirection mindset, almost like a magician daring people to figure out where the real work is being done, Joe Gusen shifts the tone entirely. Suddenly, you're no longer listening to a fighter maintaining mystique. You're hearing a coach defending principle. When Gusen says he was stunned, it doesn't come across as bitterness. It sounds like genuine disbelief, the reaction of someone who assumed respect was still the baseline in boxing. That's where things take an interesting turn. He isn't firing back at Ryan Garcia with insults or ego. Instead, he's talking about loyalty, dedication, and how unreasonable it would be to walk away from the chance to train a reigning champion like Mario Barrios.
The call for Mario Barrios was like, what fool would turn that down?
Right.
I mean, it would be absurd. Well, look, Ryan could be breaking down, looking at a fight, breaking down the tape. He's no dummy. These guys all look at each other and say, oh, if I only got in the ring with him, I could capitalize on this or that. I'm not going to give Ryan any idea.
That's old school thinking colliding with a modern day boxing storyline. What stands out is how he keeps circling back to discipline and class, pointing to the way Barrios carried himself against Manny Pacquiao. Joe is essentially showing what kind of fighter earns his respect long before earning his time in the gym. When he starts talking about defense, tightening every detail, removing errors altogether, that's Gusen operating in his element. Minimal talk, maximum structure. He even slips in the Rolando Romero reference without any bravado, simply reinforcing the idea that boxing doesn't punish personalities. It punishes bad habits.
But, again, we're both working to the same goal. You want to tighten the screws on the defense to where it's almost impenetrable. Okay? And then, that's the first rule of order, is to get that defense tight. Because at the top of the game, these guys are offensively really accurate.
What really stands out is Joe's refusal to get dragged into online debates or play the internet boxing game. He stays focused on the gym, the craft, and the tradition behind it. While Ryan's camp leans into momentum, optics, and misdirection, Gusen's approach feels rooted in planning and muscle memory. Two very different energies, and neither of them accidental. That contrast is what makes this situation so compelling. This isn't a dramatic story about personal fallout. It's a clash between modern boxing spectacle and old-school boxing principles. One side feeds off noise, the other relies on structure. And when those philosophies collide on fight night, there are no explanations, only results.
How hard you work on it, sometimes you just get caught in the wrong spot, defensively. To put a final cap on it, Marcus, it's just that you try to limit the mistakes you make and limit the opportunities defensively that you give your opponent. You have to limit those to zero if you can do.
Right after Joe Gusen closes out his lesson in discipline, structure, and the old school tighten the screws approach, Ryan Garcia's father, Henry Garcia, steps in. And the energy shifts completely. Suddenly, it's not about blueprints or technique. It's about belief, legacy, and unfinished business. The shift is clear when Henry starts referencing Ryan's amateur battles with Shakur Stevenson. For him, boxing goes beyond rounds and records. It's about rivalries that never fade. While some might dismiss the politics of it, this mindset shapes how Henry approaches the Mario Barrios fight. He doesn't underestimate Barrios in the slightest. Instead, he keeps emphasizing preparation, physical leverage, mental toughness, and handling pressure, showing that he fully respects the challenge ahead. When Henry says Ryan listens to him, it's not for show. It's hierarchy, experience, and authority in action.
Do you feel like it would be hard to find sparring partners for a style like Mario Barrios?
No, not at all. I seen how he fights, and it's nice. I mean, it's good. I respect all boxers, but it's not gonna be hard to find sparring partners, just gotta have the same height, as he is, and that's it. Just go from there. But Ryan's tall too, So it's gonna be nice.
A reminder from a father about who ultimately has the final say when everything else is stripped away. I like how Henry frames Barrios, not as hype, not as something to fear, but as a genuine test that demands full preparation. No shortcuts, no excuses. He even dismisses the idea that personal matters should carry over into the fight. Once the bell rings, none of that matters. It's a hard stance, but it's a fighter's stance. The contrast is fascinating. Gusen speaks like a surgeon, focused on minimizing errors. Henry speaks like a guardian, focused on keeping Ryan mentally sharp and aggressive. And that's exactly where the Barrios fight sits, right between those approaches. Barrios brings patience, experience, and pressure. Ryan brings speed, belief, and unpredictability. But Henry isn't selling chaos. He's selling confidence rooted in preparation. And whether you agree with him or not, one thing is obvious. On Ryan's side, this fight is being treated with the utmost seriousness, led by the person who matters most to him.
And now you have Barrios, you had Devin Haney too at 47. First things first, we got to get through Barrios, and Barrios he's just somebody you got to, be prepared, be well prepared for,
In the comments here, did the divorce affect Ryan at all?
Did the what?
The divorce.
Well, he isn't divorced.
Okay.
He isn't divorced.
Right after Henry Garcia lays down that old-school compass-style mindset, Andre Darrell steps in and shifts the focus from belief to blueprint. And this is where things get uncomfortably productive. Andre isn't criticizing Ryan Garcia. He's analyzing him. There's a difference. When he calls Ryan a renegade, it actually makes sense. That's been both his greatest asset and his biggest challenge. He fights relying on instinct and reflex more than a structured game plan. Against a fighter like Mario Barrios, that can either lead to spectacular moments or a long, difficult night. Andre keeps returning to the same point. Speed and power can win rounds, but fundamentals win fights, especially when the opponent is built to endure, stay composed, and force you to prove yourself late in the rounds. Barrios is exactly that type of fighter. He isn't flashy, and he doesn't chase chaos. He's a fundamentals-first welterweight who understands spacing, pacing, and how to weather storms without losing composure. That's why Andre's perspective lands so strongly.
If Ryan does beat Barrios,
do you think he beats? Do you think he beats him first?
If he does, it's gonna be because of his speed. He wasn't. Let me pause for a second. My 10%. I got time probably. If he does beat him, it's gonna be because of his speed matched with his power, and he possibly puts Mario Barrios down. Right. My thing with Ryan is this, man. He never has a game plan. He promises the left hook. He's gonna give you the left hook. You never really see him set up shots. You see him more so just executing and then backing out and then executing again, backing. So he's sort of like a renegade when it comes to boxing, man. He's just gonna get in the ring. He's just gonna, if you shoot, I'm shooting. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's who Ryan is. I think Barrios is really solid in the fundamentals. Like, he's a fundamental boxer first, right? So that can get him past and lead him to winning this fight just off the fundamentals, man. So I don't really know. That's a 50-50.
Mm-hmm. Anything that's has to do with marriage, whether it's an argument or a separation or, like you said, divorce, it's going to affect the boxer somewhat, but a professional boxer should know that that's his job, what he has to do, and he's got to really put everything aside and just focus on what's at hand. And that's something that you don't want to use as an excuse to say, the only thing that you could use for an excuse, if something happened during training camp that still is carrying over the fight.